Mike, obviously, we saw kind of the statement you released yesterday, but if you didn't mind, I just wanted to ask you maybe for your first or your fondest memories of George McGinnis. I know you kind of grew up in Indianapolis. Obviously, he was a successful high school player there and also at Indiana. Just maybe the things that stick with you most about whether it was watching him in high school and college, getting to know him as two former Hoosiers, whatever it might have been.
Well, I've known him almost 50 years, and he impacted my life from a young man growing up in Indianapolis as a basketball player. Gave me an opportunity to play at an early age against him when he was a pacer in the ABA days, and um, it was just special for me. And I mean, we've stayed in contact all these years. I played against him once I was fortunate enough to play in the NBA, and his friendship has held true all those years, and um, it's a tremendous loss. I mean, anytime you lose somebody like that. I mean, he was bigger than life, man. I mean, just a beautiful person. And to get all the accolades, hell, he was a better person than all the accolades that he received over the years. I mean, he was just special. So he's going to be missed.
Alex and then Mike Niz.
Coach, thank you for the time. I appreciate it. I know you were disappointed with the result last Saturday, but now that you've had some time, I guess this week to work with your team, what's been the response from them from the loss on Saturday, and what have you tried to focus on as you lead into another tough game on Saturday against Kansas?
When you experience a game like that, only thing you can do is come back and go to work. You practice to try to get better, and only time will tell. I don't know, where we are until we tip it up tomorrow at 12:30, and we'll see where we are. I mean, we come back to practice and we work. We work. That's the only way you're gonna get better. So hopefully our work this week will pay off, and we'll see where we are.
Mike and then Rabbi.
Yeah, Mike, any update on Xavier Johnson's status for Saturday's game? And how have you kind of tried to, he had a tough year last year with the injury. How's he kind of navigated this stretch and kind of missing these games?
Well, it's been tough for him. I mean, you go back-to-back years where, you're not playing basketball. I mean, we went into this season expecting him to be on the floor, and he's not there. So I know it's tough on him. It's tough on us. But we got to keep marching along based on who we got in uniform until he gets back. And when that is, I don't know yet. I just don't.
Rabbi, then Todd.
Yeah, good morning, Coach. Thanks for your time. I was talking to a couple of NBA scouts recently, and they liked what you've done with Ware, how you've gotten him going. What are some key things that you feel you've done to get him playing the way he is? And what do you think about the way he actually is playing?
He's playing fantastic, and the difference is he's playing harder. He's learning how to play harder, and that cures a lot of problems. He's a talented young big man, and a lot of room for growth. He's just got to keep working to play harder and to get better.
Todd the Mason.
Hey, Mike, you mentioned on your radio show this week that you wanted to see defensive improvement, especially coming off the game against Auburn. What goes into the work of that when you have a week to work on it? What have you tried to instill in the players this week to improve defensively against a very good offensive team in Kansas?
Play harder. Fight. That's the name of the game. I thought we came out and established ourselves in the last game, but to give up 104 points is unacceptable. That's something that hadn't happened since I've been here. The Syracuse game was a couple of overtime games to get the point production out of our character. We normally fight and try to hold teams in the 60s, and to give up 100 points, you're not going to beat anybody in college basketball doing that. So we had to come back and go to work, and emphasize defense along with offense, and now we got to see where it leads us.
Mason, then Jack.
Coach, kind of going off that in dealing with the response from a result like that game. In talking with Gabe Cupps afterwards, he mentioned that there was kind of a good balance between not letting that taste go out of his mouth and kind of remembering that result, but also using it as motivation going forward. Have you seen more intent and more emphasis on those things that you've wanted to get across in practice this week? Have you seen a response to that?
We've had a decent week of work. Always room for improvement, gentlemen. So only time will tell.
Jack, then Mike Schumann.
Hey, Mike, just what stands out to you about Hunter Dickinson's game? Obviously, you played him the last couple of years when he was at Michigan, but I guess anything different you've seen, or what do you remember kind of about preparing for him the last few years?
Well, he's a big man that's very solid, can score down low, can shoot the three, cause a threat for a lot of the big guys that have to go against him. And we played him in Michigan, I think 4 times, and he had the one big explosion here the first time we played him, but I thought we played him pretty well from that point on. But he's having another great season. He's one of their top leading scorers, and I think he's their leading rebounder. So, I mean, he's a handful, somebody we're going to have to deal with tomorrow.
Mike, then Zion.
Yeah, good morning, Coach. You've had some success in these high-profile home games here over the last couple of years, whether it's Purdue or North Carolina or others. I'm just curious if you do anything different with your team to just kind of keep them loose and not let the buildup get to them.
We just work. That's all we do. You practice to get better, and you emphasize you can't lose at home. That's what's important. If you're talking about winning the Big Ten title, you got to win your games at home and figure it out on the road. And when teams come in here, this is our home court, so we got to try to hold court tomorrow against a great coach team and a great talented team.
Zion, then Jim.
Hey, Mike, just following up on Hunter Dickinson, how much can you use as far as the way you prepped for him at Michigan versus at Kansas, different schemes and different supporting cast? How can you prepare for him the same way, or does it have to switch?
Well, he's not changed as a player, so you got to prepare for him the same way. He can make threes, and he's great on the low block. So I mean, nothing's changed. I mean, he's taken his act to Kansas, and he's having a stellar season so far.
Jim, then Seth.
Mike, you just mentioned the threes that Hunter's able to knock down, but as a team, Kansas is averaging, I think, 8 made 3-pointers a game. In scouting and preparing for them, are you guys doing anything different to try to prevent the three ball shot from being a difference in this game? And are you doing anything to try to either encourage or work more 3-point shots into your own offense?
Guys, I'm going to say this to you for the last time. We take enough threes. We just got to make what we take. And we work defensively to defend the three. And we've had some struggles in that area. Hopefully tomorrow we will fix that, hopefully. It's all you can do. You can't, I don't predict games or anything like that. You got to go into the game and you got to put up a 40-minute ball game to beat a great team.
Seth, last one.
Mike, you talked about Xavier's status before, and obviously, you talked earlier in the week about Jakai and his status. Just with the guard depth a little thinner with all of that, how do you feel like the rest of the guys, especially Gabe, have kind of adapted to needing to be in a little bit more of an elevated role?
Well, again, I mean, you're dealing with young Gabe as a freshman, still trying to figure it out, and he gives us all he can give us. I mean, I'm very pleased with the way he's played for us, but we got to get other guys stepping up and playing. I mean, it's just that simple. And when you do that, you put yourself in position to win basketball games.
All right. Thanks, Coach.